How's everybody doing? My name's Gonzalo, and I'm going to be speaking about the fight going down this afternoon if you're in the United States, Canada, or even, I'm not sure if in England. Well, I'm in the Philippines. It's tomorrow morning for me. But anyways, this is a fight between an English man and a Mexican for the world heavyweight titles. Three of the major belts. There's like 4 on the line total. And where it's gonna be revindication, repeat, or revenge. Okay, to where the ex-champion is still like the 2-1 underdog, and the guy that won the titles dropped the Englishman in Joshua 4 times to the canvas after dropping the Mexican 1 time in Andy Ruiz, which was able to recover off the canvas and come back with the fury. You know, he got touched, he didn't like it, he fought back aggressively and really surprised Anthony Joshua, the taller man. I'm not going to get into the dimensions because I'm pretty sure amongst the people that follow boxing, you all are well aware the size of Anthony Joshua. He's a tall mountain of a man for this new era of large heavyweights, 6'5", but he is coming in at a weight of 236, I believe. Okay, he dropped 10 pounds from his last fight when he stepped onto the scales at 246. So now it's 10 pounds less. Looking to drop muscle, as he showed, around his chest, and a little bit off like some other areas, accordingly to the plan that they designed to come in with more stamina, to be able to have more endurance, to defend yourself and be a little bit less robotic, in the words of what many people have said about Anthony Joshua's muscular physique at the time. But still, you know, he's a big muscular guy, but he's more thin. So he's going to be doing that in order to be more fluid, okay, and be able to have more rhythm and flow, as he said it himself. Now, Andy Ruiz, he stepped onto the scales at 268 last time, came in at 283 this time. Okay, he came up 15 pounds higher, but he was basically wearing a sombrero, a mariachi sombrero, that's got felt, cardboard, all the accessories, weighs about 2 pounds. The shoes, one found a piece, you know, the sweatpants, the chains, I think Manny Robles said even the phone that he was carrying in his pocket, whatnot. This is no excuses by no means, because this is basically what he came in weighing at 283, but you can account for about 7 of those pounds, because it's very untraditional to have somebody dressed in a full gear battle rattle step onto a scale. Usually, even in the United States, even if you're a heavyweight, you're not going to be getting away with that. But here, since it's above 200, it doesn't really matter. So you got to think, why would Ruiz not bother to take all this off? Is it a strategic, psychological thing, to where you want to get the other guy thinking that you're fatter than you're not, that you're bigger, that you're going to be more of a monster? I don't believe so, but it is what it is. 283, but the guy's really weighing around 275. Okay? But it is what it is. And will 283 or 275 make the difference to where he's going to get tired in the latter rounds? Possibly. But we also have to think that Joshua's coming in 10 pounds lighter. So although he will be more fluid and have better cardio, he can also start depleting and wilting as far as stamina wise. If we think of how other boxers, when they cut a lot of weight, this is a heavyweight division, but it doesn't matter, because if you're used to walking around one weight, but then you cut weight, then usually your conditioning can suffer, okay, if you're dehydrating yourself. Because this guy is big and muscular, you would think not, because basically he did it 1 month after the first fight. He went into camp and worked on that, to where he was doing a lot of training during that time and was concentrating more on boxing leading up to the fight during the actual camp. But nonetheless, if he did it the correct way or not, he did it within the span of last fight in this one, in the immediate rematch. To where if it's advisable or not, that's here nor there, because The fight's going down later today or tomorrow my time. So props to him for taking the to challenge himself. But I was saying about Andy Ruiz's weight. He has a good engine. He's got good stamina. He's got 31 fights with 21 KOs, so he's only gone the distance about 10 times. You gotta count out of those 10 times. Some of those fights when he was coming up to her, they were only 6, 8 round and 10 round fights. Basically, he's probably gone the distance, I don't know, out of those 10 fights. The one with Parker, maybe Lajkovic, and some other guys. But in those fights, did he really gas? No, he was pressing the pedal to the metal against Parker, a guy that's fleet-footed, that he was kind of walking down and trying to do, his win the rounds, which he did, in my opinion. Although he lost a close, controversial decision in New Zealand, that was a fight that he didn't. There was any evidence that he has bad stamina. Okay. Now a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, but fucking Andrew Ruiz, he's lazy." Dude, when did you people know about him really? I've been following the guy for some time in the Mexican channel, about 5 or 6 years, to where I know what Andy Ruiz brings to the table. Now that he's elevated himself to world champion, he got that confidence. I don't think that 15, but if we cut that in half, those 7 pounds, if you minus the clothes, is really gonna affect him, because he hasn't really shown a sign that he has stamina problems that you can really pinpoint and say he gets tired. No, but then people will argue, "Oh, he's fat. How are you not gonna get tired?" Well, show me the evidence. Out of 10 fights that went the distance, how many times he's gone 12 rounds? The times he's gone 12 rounds, he's been able to sustain his stamina. Everybody's gonna get tired, of course. But just think of like other sports, a defensive lineman, but this guy's throwing punches, a sumo wrestler, charging forward, blitzing while throwing punches. Man, that's a lot of force. Yeah, that's a lot of power. It can hurt you in the end, but in the beginning, he's going to be a force to reckon with. Just like the fight ended the first time around, 7 rounds, who's to guarantee that 10 pounds lighter and Joshua could sustain that first and second assault? And if in the later part of the fight, let's so to speak, Andy Ruiz does get tired, in the beginning he's going to be applying a lot of body pressure towards Joshua like he did in the first fight, to where he's going to also be broken down. And he's also, like I said, going to be suffering a little from dropping those 10 pounds, whether the people like to hear or not, oh, because you're Mexican, and there's a lot of people from England or Britain that follow the channel from the UK and BDA, and some of my subscribers might be listening to this and might be thinking, well, you're a fucking fanboy, Gonzalo. Well, I am a fan of Andy Ruiz. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But if I'm speaking things that are not true, sooner rather than later I will be found out, because the fight is later on today for the majority of the world, and I don't know, tomorrow for me. So if I'm speaking nonsense, please tell me, because although you might think it is, I'm going to tell you what each guy brings to the table. Anthony Joshua, a tall guy, and I have to give him credit is due. He's a big guy. He hits hard with both hands. 1 out of 10, I give him a 9 in power, maybe a 9.5. 21 KOs out of 22 fights. What's that's like a 95% KO ratio? Goddamn, this got to be one of the hardest punchers in this era. Okay, so he's got power in 2 hands. He's got the range, and he's got the timing. He's got good punch placement where he can time you, and he's pretty fast and accurate with 1s and 2s, even 3s. 1, 2, 3 punch combination. Okay. Intelligent fighter, gold medalist, started in his middle teens. So those are the strengths that he brings to the table. Now, engine wise, he doesn't have the best engine, and he's got hurt in the past, to where this is no surprise. He got clipped by Povetkin, he got dropped by Vladimir, he showed some resiliency and good heart, but then he also got dropped by Ruiz 4 times to, he couldn't come up with an idea. He ran out of them. That the referee called a halt to the action. He didn't quit, in my opinion, but he just didn't have any ideas. Because very frustrating fighting a guy that's pressuring you, that throws a lot of punches, that's keeping you on the edge of the cliff, so to speak. Very mentally fatiguing. So, those are the things that Anthony Joshua's got going for him. He's got the range, he's got the power, and the two hands. Andy Ruiz. What does Andy Ruiz do well? Andy Ruiz has got fast hands, okay? Exceptionally fast hands. To where they want to say, oh, he has slow feet, because it's more like a stereotype to a lot of people. Oh, Mexican guys don't know how to cut off the ring. But if you got a guy coming forward, pursuing you all the time, while throwing punches and trying to get in range and to position to get those combinations off and land while getting countered, you tell me, why wouldn't more people be doing it? It's much easier to play tag and get on the back foot on your bicycle and run. But, so I'm mentioning things that he does well, things that he does good, and then if I have to highlight anything that he doesn't do well or good at all, I'm going to mention them, but I can't really off the top of my mind think of one. Okay, other than what is not aesthetically pleasing to most people, that we're trying to find an angle to criticize him because of that. He's got a crutch, yes, the food. He loves the food. He's a big guy. But don't we all have vices in life? That if I'm eating and I'm happy, but I can still perform, hey, let him be. But then oh, Gonzo, how are you going to say that? How are you going to say that? This is the heavyweight division. Yeah, you don't have to meet a weight. Let the guy feel comfortable and how he feels comfortable. His is his ass on the line, not mine. He hasn't shown no evidence of, like, suffering because of it. Oh, well, he can be greater. No, well, that's what I'm saying. He's happy with the food. He's got exceptionally fast hands. Okay? He's got heart. He's a fighter. He showed the resiliency to recover, the will to fight back, and demonstrated great character, okay? As a fighter, to fight back and impress while doing that. He might have got tired a little bit to where he's trying to remain poised and composed, because he also did that. He's got that going for him. He's been a boxer ever since he was a little kid, to, you know, he's got good ring generalship to where if he went for the kill, but, you know, pulled off and decided to give it a few rounds to, you know, not get ahead of yourself, he ultimately did it in the 7th round. So I'm not saying that he didn't get a little tired. He landed a good shot. Whether he lands that shot or not, and Joshua, the big question is going to be in that same position to where, you know, his mind is not in the fight anymore, because he got caught with the punch that he didn't see coming. That this time around, if you're crossing the street and you got to look both ways, and you know what's coming, and Anthony Joshua, you're going to be more prepared, and it's not going to put you in the same place to where you're going to defend yourself, and you're not going to be put in that spot like in the first fight. Well, that remains to be seen. But if I have to name two things that Andy Ruiz does exceptionally well, he's got the fighter in him, and he's got really fast hands. Okay? Doesn't have slow feet, but does have fast hands. This guy pressuring forward. And I'm going to throw another two in there. Okay? Because I said that I would name the characteristics that make him a good fighter. Not because I'm a fucking fanboy. Because he is from a border town and I'm from a border town. He's from Mexicali, I'm from Tijuana. Okay? Born in Tijuana, raised in Tijuana, born in San Diego, raised in Tijuana. Okay, crossed the border every day to go back and forth to school until I dropped off. I like his story, and who cannot identify with the chubby guy that has got the boxing ability. But okay, let me just continue. That's something that there's for everybody to identify with. Okay, your typical blue collar Joe, whatnot. Two things that he does well: he's got fast hands and he's a fighter. Okay, that he does great. If that ain't a fighter, you tell me. If those are not quick hands, if not the quickest, okay, they're very quick to where you gotta agree with what I'm saying. It's not no bullshit, right? Don't have to, but I'm just saying. And I said that I would mention two more. Andy Ruiz got a good chin. He's got a good chin. Got off the canvas, got hit early. He warmed up his his chin to where he got up and was able to take a monster of a right hand after that, and it did not phase him to where we have to only speculate that if this is that he's got a good chin, because he said it himself that this is like the first time that he ever got dropped. So like we can only come to the conclusion that he's got a good chin. Okay, not a great chin, but there was something in him that was able to take a right-hander if he got off the canvas. That tells me he's kind of like a Marcus or De La Hoya that get dropped but get back up. Show that pizzazz, the power, the ability to hurt you back, like Tito Trinidad, that when he gets hurt, got up, it hurt you back. Because he felt endangered and reacted and was able to get his wits together. We gotta say that, you know, he just has a good chin, but he just got caught with the good punches. Anthony Joshua punches harder. Okay, he's got that prowess about him, that fighter in him. So he's a fighter. He's got fast hands. He got a good chin, and he's been boxing ever since he was 6 years old. That's the fourth one. Good ring generalship, and that's it. Does he have a bad engine? No, he's got good stamina. He was pressuring Parker in the latter 3 rounds of the 12th round championship fight, to where he lost that title bid in his first try in a controversial manner when he was training himself under Abel Sanchez. But Abel Sanchez likes to conduct his camp like a platoon, to where he doesn't want to even have extra trainers. You're hearing people doing like the work over there in Big Bear, this isolated place. He washes the towels himself. He doesn't have no help. And if he's dedicating his time to train like he was against Golovkin, I got no reason to believe that Andy Ruiz is lying when he said that he had to train himself. Okay? 4 things he does well. Now, what does he do bad? He comes in overweight. His first fight, he walks around 300 pounds. First 2 fights, he came at 293, and a little less in the second after his debut. And this, if we're going to take him for 283, this is the heaviest, the 3rd heaviest weight ever since. But if we got to take away all that garb, the attire, he really weighs around 275, to where if he walks around at 300, I'm saying he can carry the weight. So what does Ruiz have not going for him so well that I could speak about? He doesn't have the resume that Anthony Joshua has. Okay? Doesn't have the resume. Other than that, what other evidence is? Well, if we can't find anything, we're gonna say that he eats tacos, that he's lazy, which is not true. Because when did anybody know anything about Andy Ruiz, to where when he fought Dimitrenko, then he fought Joshua the first time, he was training for 15 weeks, pretty much back to back, to where when he won the title, he had a few months in between, to now he's been 11 weeks to 12 in camp, to that's like over 25 weeks. That's around 6 months in the last 6 to 9 months that everybody knew who this guy was. Okay, this is what we're talking about when the Dimitrenko camp started. 9 months ago, nobody knew who he was, but they're now saying he's lazy. I know him so well that fuck Andy Ruiz, he's lazy. He sucks. Like, I grew up knowing him, I know who he is, that I'm a character assassinating him. If he's been training from the time that you've known about him, fucking 15 weeks plus 11, 12 weeks, that's fucking 27 weeks. I don't know, like the last 8 months. Come on, man. He took a break 2 months. He became champion. He likes the food. Oh, well, now I'm really sounding like a fanboy on this one. But it's just the fucking truth, man. I'll speak about great fighters. Golovkin, Lomachenko, Nonito Donaire. I'll speak about Joshua himself. You name it. Alexander Usyk. You name it. Who do I want? Manny Pacquiao. Hey, I came all the way to the Philippines because of Manny Pacquiao. He's like, the Bible says don't idolize no man, but I found him. I spoke to him. He talked to me in Spanish. I identified with him. Pacquiao's cool dude, man. Yeah. I told him, hey, you and me, I came here, and he's like, yeah, right on, Gonzo. He told me, it's cool. I got to his heart. He knew it. He knew that I know that he knows. how I feel about him. But anyways, yeah, this fight is in the Middle East. It's gonna be a explosion of a card. It's gonna be fireworks. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. Anthony Joshua could knock out Andy Ruiz in the first 5 rounds. Okay, he's carrying a little less muscle, but he's still fast. And if he lands the right punch, because he's an accurate puncher, as I stated, he can land that punch and knock out Andy Ruiz. And also could be that he performs really well to where that he's weighing at 283. Andy Ruiz will get tired. Okay, and he will suffer, and then Joshua takes over. I'm not saying he's not. But if I have to give a prediction, because I don't want to lose my audience, at the beginning I said that Ruiz would pressure Joshua and take him out later, given that Joshua would turn in a better performance. But then ultimately Ruiz would beat Joshua in the 11th round, similar to Miguel Cotto Antonio Margarito won. Basically the same thing. He runs out of ideas, gets tired out, and gets taken down via TKO in the 11th round. So we have Andy Ruiz the winner. To where I'm thinking now that Ruiz can knock him out within the first 7 rounds, because he don't want to leave it up to the scorecards. He don't want to leave it to where he's going into the 11th round to where if something happens to where he's a good boxer, but somehow he doesn't have it according to plan, to where Anthony Joshua does survive and gets away, to where he can end up winning a decision in Anthony Joshua, providing that he stepped onto the scale at 283, but he really weighs at 275. He's got to carry a little bit more extra protection just in case Joshua tries to act early, like Eddie Hearns insinuated that he's going to try to go for the KO, and we do have evidence that he landed first in the first fight. So similar thing can happen, that while Joshua is fresh and powerful, he can clip Ruiz and hurt him. So if he got that little extra weight in Ruiz, we got to think that it's more of a calculated thing. Okay? I'm not saying that he don't like the rice and he likes sweet, but at the same time, that little extra protection around the neck, that water weight, and Ruiz coming a little heavier, and Joshua coming a little less heavier than he did the first time, I'm thinking he's going to be able to take that punch. Okay, now he's coming in heavy. That means he's going to be powerful in the beginning, to where his Ruiz's stamina starts waiting. Okay, and he starts getting tired. He's got to go in there and try to blitz Joshua out with the first 6 rounds, but I'm going to say 7, like the first fight. So I think it's going to be a repeat. 7 out of 10 title fights, when it comes to the rematch in an immediate situation like this one, the champion wins. 7 out of 10. Correction. Yes, 3 out of 5, 70%. 3 out of 5 times. So we got a favor, in my case, Ruiz. I am a fan of Ruiz. I'm not discrediting Joshua by no means. This is not a popularity contest. I just do firmly believe that Ruiz is a good fighter, okay? And he's going to prove that he's a great fighter. And if he loses, I'm not going to be the one that's going to say, oh man, I'm not going to feel bad about it, because a lot of people are just willing to listen to you until you kind of expose yourself where you are. Because if you're willing to talk and then you fail in your prediction, later they're going to say, oh fucking I told you so. Because I'm not saying that they didn't believe in you, because people want to believe in somebody, especially when they're speaking the truth, like I believe that I am. Okay? But you know, people, you yourselves have to come out with your own predictions, because the mind thinks, and sometimes if we don't voice our opinion, the mind has a lot of ideas to where we can think of how can Andy Ruiz win, how can Joshua win, that when Joshua or Ruiz wins, you come out later and say, I told you so. But then you never vocalize your opinion, to where the mind is very deceiving, that you're going to tell yourself, I thought about this scenario, I thought about this scenario, I thought about many scenarios, to where it does happen like that. Then later you fool yourself into thinking, yes, I really did believe that this is, And the way it was gonna happen, and I said it. I'm gonna come out and say it. I told you so. But if you never vocalize it, nobody's really gonna know. So on paper, write it down, put it somewhere, speak about it on the BDA, put it on the chat, share your comments, like and subscribe on my video. And yeah, so if I lose, well, I'm not the one fighting in there. If I get it wrong in my prediction, I'm gonna get found out. So call it fanboy or not, there's nothing wrong with being a fan of a fighter. And nothing wrong if he's just similar to you or your nationality, that you can't speak about it because other people are gonna get irritated about it. That's nonsense. That's weak character. Not on my behalf. On the people that are too judgmental and being Pharisee-like in their mentality. All credit to the United Kingdom, and you know, maybe the London Bridge is falling down on this one. Okay, the London Bridge is falling down, but you know, don't get all butthurt about it because I'm only joking. But at the same time, I got much respect for y'all, and I'm picking Andy Ruiz to win. But I'm sure the Brits are also fans of Andy Ruiz. They're not gonna take him in as maybe I do or others, and maybe also because, you know, he's humble character. The two guys, they are real humble, nice dudes. Okay, but I'm not gonna hear fucking roll the red carpet and butter them up and speak, oh yeah, they're really nice. No, I'm here to see a fight. This is what I'm calling it on. Okay, and I'm just gonna tell you guys, I'm a fan of Ruiz and Navarrete. Those are my favorite two Mexican guys. I'm from Tijuana. I just like Luis Neri. When he was training in TJ, he did what he wanted. But the trainer that I know personally, that he left Eddie Reynoso. He's now with Freddie Roach. He's missed weight. I dislike his antics. And Jaime Munguia, who's training with somebody that I grew up around and that I trained at one point in the beginnings, Eric El Terrible Morales and Hector Velasquez out of 12. Anyways, that was back in the day, back in the early 90s, 93. I'm not a fan of him either. That's his new coach. Well, I think he just takes too much punches. He could be proved to be exciting, but he's stepping up to 160 and Munguia to where that's where he really belongs. But, you know, I don't think that he's a great fighter to where I'm not going to overplay his ability. So there are two fighters from my hometown that are world champions, that just to make a case, if it seems like I'm justifying, I'm not. But just to say, you know, that's the way I feel. A lot of great fighters, and this is an international sport where it's taking place in Saudi Arabia. It's going to be a bomb of a card, but this is what we like to see. World fights on the world stage, because it's not exclusive to one country. And this is a great sport, but anyways, this is my opinion, that once again, Andy Ruiz wins in the 11th round, TKO. And I didn't want to sound wishy-washy, but I'm going to go ahead and change it. Last minute. I'm going to change it to where I'm going to say it's going to be Andy Ruiz by 9th round TKO. And don't be surprised if it's by a body shot. And then follow up to where he gets a TKO. Drops him with a body shot and follows up. It's very unusual to see a heavyweight get dropped by a body shot for some reason. But I just think this is how it's going to go down. And I'm going to have to alter my prediction from 11th round to 9th round. And the BDA, I know that you guys thought that I said the 7th round like the first one. But I'm going to have it like to where the first one and the 7th, it's repeat. But from 7 to 11, I'm going to pick in between the 9th. Because Anthony Joshua got a lot of heart. He got hard. He got up 4 times off the canvas. Got up against Vladimir Klitschko. Took a right hand. Weathered the storm. But it's not the same thing weathering a strong punch and Vladimir from 1 to 10 and 9 to weathering 3/8. Less of a power puncher, but more of a combination to where it discombobulates you. That I think that Anthony Joshua does have heart, but Ruiz will win in the 9th round. Okay? And if I sounded like I was all over the place on that, just it's really the truth. 9th round, to what I believe. And that's basically it. 9th round, but don't be surprised if Anthony Joshua gets an early KO. But I'm not saying that that's going to happen. But if he does, it's alright. It's alright. I'm not going to quit making videos. and I'm not gonna quit coming on the BDA. But this is just the way it is. Okay, I got a pretty good track record with predictions. I believe, I think. Okay, I got the Vozic Bitter Beef one wrong. But I think he was leading on the scorecards officially. Unofficially, maybe he was losing a close fight, and Bitter Beef was beating the dog shit out of Vosdick. But anyhow, that's pretty much it. This is boxing, Lobito's Boxing Den. Peace.